Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to the Persistence Payoff Show. We're here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm your host, Kimberly Schaefer. I'm on a lifelong journey with persistence, and in this new chapter of my life, I'm really experiencing it as a first-time entrepreneur and inventor. I'm the inventor of the Ring Thing, which is a waterproof patented ring holder that I created and have brought to market. So persistence is an important part of my life every day right now. I'm very excited to talk to our guest today about his journey with persistence. Roland Friedl has an amazing career that he's had and that he is having. He is an international speaker and entrepreneur, a consultant for Fortune 500 companies, and he's been doing that for decades. He's a wellness expert and has created a platform and tools to help people live their best lives and be fit and happy at any age. And for the last 4 years, he's been doing that from his motorhome where he travels around Europe. So I'm very excited to talk with him and learn about his journey. So please welcome Roland Friedl to the show.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Kimberly. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Roland. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
It's an honor and a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, sure. So I'm so intrigued by your life in your motorhome over the last 4 years. And my first question is, where are you right now?
Right now, actually, I'm in my home country in Austria. Because the last days in the next week, I'm meeting some friends, family members, because end of next week, I'm heading to my winter place. So I'm spending the next 5 months in Italy and Sicily. So right now I'm in Austria, having different stops, meeting friends and family members, and then I'm heading south.
Ah, wonderful. That just sounds like such a wonderful way to experience life. And thanks to wireless internet, we can do our work from anywhere. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now you have such a... Oh, sorry to interrupt you. You have such a broad depth of experience in things. And I'm really curious to just go back and find out, how did your career start? What did you first start out doing when you started your professional career?
Oh, when I was in kindergarten and school, I started businesses when I was quite small. I was quite small. Starting very early, buying stuff, selling, reselling stuff. When I was smaller, I always loved I always liked to trade things and make people happy and deliver things that they want, and that's what I always did. And then during my university years, I was running different businesses, and then after university, I went straight into business. And then my dad said, years ago, he said, you run your businesses, but you never make it in a corporate world. So I made a pause, and I was hired by chance by a big company, and within 3 years, I was the youngest member of board of directors in a huge company with 28. So I made this. Then I quit again and restarted my business again. That's very early years. I don't know how it came to me, but I think my mom was very supportive, and whatever I did, no matter if it was good or bad, or she always said, "Yeah, you're doing right. You're doing right." She was always motivating me, whatever I'm doing.
Wow. So it's no understatement to say that you are a lifelong entrepreneur. That's absolutely
Yeah,
true. If you started in kindergarten,
yeah.
that's very impressive. Um, so in terms of persistence, I mean, that's a huge amount of persistence right there to first start at such a young age and have the vision to do that and stick with it, then move into the corporate world and then come back into the business world. So when you look back at that time of your life, where do you think that that persistence came from?
Oh, oh. Uh, it came from, to be honest, I had a very bad childhood. I had a good mom, but I had a very, very bad childhood. So I want to go too deeper. Actually, there's a chapter in Dr. Jacalyn's book, From Adversity to Excellence. I was sexually abused for many, many years as a small kid. And this made the person I am. So what I mean, I didn't really feel safe at home because nobody was believing me what happened to me. And when you're 5, 6 years old, I mean, you cannot move out. You're not surviving in the world. You have to stay at your home if you like it or don't like it. And so from the early beginning, I was very focused on myself. So because I'm traveling alone all the time, so many, many years now in a motorhome, but before with airplanes. And they always say, "Where is your home?" I said, "My home is here. It's inside me." And from there comes this, the persistency. I guess the root cause of my persistence, I guess, is my instinct to survive. I guess as a kid, I was always in the survival mode to survive. And from there on, when you want to survive something really traumatic, you need something. You need an anchor or a lighthouse or a polar star, something where you want to head to and you focus on that so that you don't feel the pain of what's happening to you. And I think it started very early with the sexual abuse that I learned about being persistent and consistent, persistent, and following a goal and something like that. It started very early. So the negative experience had a very positive impact on my financial career. Let's say it like this.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Well, first of all, I'm very sorry that you went through that as a child. Or at any age. That's a really traumatic thing. So, first, I'm sorry that you experienced that, and I think that is what a wonderful example of, just as you said, a negative turning into something that is positive and helps us in our life. And so when you left the corporate world and went back into your own business, and then how did you transition into being a speaker and a consultant for other companies?
It happened because I started a business and it was growing very fast. I had thousands of distributors in 16 countries, and when you grow, you have to make sure you have your certain structures. You have to create processes, and stuff like that, and you have to train your staff. You have to train your leadership. You have to train your vendors. And I was not happy with what was offered on the market. There was a lot of guys who train a lot of theory, but they never have been successful in selling or leading people or whatever. So there was a lot of theory, and I don't like theory. I'm a doer, not a talker. So I trained my own stuff. And when I remember I was in Switzerland, it was in, I don't know, Zurich or Basel years ago, and I was training my staff, and I had 800 people in the room, and I trained them. And by accident, someone came into this room, but he was supposed to be in another room. And he listened to me, and he came to me and I said, "Hey, that's amazing. Are you a professional trainer?" I said, "No, I'm just training my own stuff." And he asked me, "Can you do this for my company?" So I started with Xerox, OpenText, with all these big players, without any website, with any business card. That's how it started. He watched me training my own stuff, and then he asked me if I can train Xerox worldwide. And I said, "Okay, whenever I have time, yes, I can fly, but my focus is my own business. But whenever I have time, I'm flying." So I guess when my own business was running really, really well, and my staff didn't need me, my leaders could run the company. I had 200 training and coaching stays on all over the world. Yeah, I was never at home, always from hotel to hotel, and I loved what I'm doing.
Yes. How interesting. And now in your life, as from your in your motorhome, and still doing that, do you find that the experience of training people is different via Zoom or other electronic methods rather than being in person?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, Kimball, I don't miss flights. I don't miss flight delays. I don't miss flight canceling, but I miss the people. And
Yeah.
actually, with the pandemic in 2020, just I was mostly working for American or Canadian tech companies. There was no chance to travel. Yeah, so their staff was not allowed to travel. We, as a trainer, haven't been allowed to. So we had a transition from face to face to online trainings, and it actually in the beginning I said, "Well, what cool! I don't have to fly anymore. I can do it from my home in Mallorca." Then afterwards, there's a good chance for me to now go full time into my motorhome, travel in Europe, and work from there. In the beginning, it sounds good, but to be honest, it's not the same. I can speak from my side, not as a delegate, because when I'm in a seminar room for a day or 2 days or 5 days, whatever. When I fly home, I was fully energized because I'm not only giving energy to the room, to the delegates, energy is coming back from them. But when I speak in front of a screen, I put all my energy in, but from the screen, there's nothing coming back. So that's different. For me, it's more exhausting, to be honest, to work online. The other thing is I don't have to travel. Yeah, that's the advantage. But it's more exhausting sitting in front of a screen, and then you have to be really good in what you're doing, because when your delegates are sitting in front of the screen, it's hard to get their attention full time or all the session. I mean, I don't only do half days. I never do full days on online. It doesn't make sense. People cannot focus in front of the screen, but there's always a chance that they are on their smartphone or checking emails or stuff like that. So it's different. In the seminar room, you find out immediately what they're doing, and then you can stop it, because I always want 100% commitment and 100% attention from my audience, from my delegates. This is not always possible when you do it online, because you never know what is going on in the background. So I think it's a good online trainings or coaching is a good options in addition, but it's not the only solution. I think it's a good mixture is the best one.
That makes really good sense. And one thing I noticed myself during COVID, I worked for many years at the University of California of San Diego. I was there for 33 years, and I was in a leadership positions where I would supervise people. And I noticed that when we went to Zoom, you miss some of those subtle hints. Like if I was in person and I might see somebody at their desk looking frustrated, or putting their head down, and then I could go over and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And you don't get any of those clues during a Zoom meeting. And I could imagine that during training, it would be the same, that there's larger audience clues that you don't get to pick up on. And like you're saying, that energy is not there that you're getting from the audience. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a very sensitive person. When I'm in a seminar room, I sense everyone, and very often it happened to me that I feel something, that somebody's feeling bad or is angry or aggressive, and I can take the chance and go in a break and have a one-to-one and talk to this person. Then we can sort it out, whatever it is. But this is impossible when you're sitting in front of a screen. No chance.
Yes, it's absolutely true. And I'm curious to know, so you've done training for individuals and also for companies. And are there consistencies, like when you're doing a training session, whether it's for a company or an individual, do you get hints about their own persistence and their own stick-to-itiveness? Like, okay, this company is going to really benefit from my training and take it to heart and do what I say, or this person is going to really listen to me. They are listening to me and will enact some of my suggestions. And do you find that varies by? Is there a difference between companies and large companies and individuals in terms of how receptive they are to your coaching? And how do you handle that when you sort of feel like, oh, I don't think they're really absorbing what I'm saying, I better pivot on this?
Well, yeah, actually, I mean, more or less every company is the same. I mean, the culture might vary a little bit, but at the end, it's all the same. They're all, shareholder value driven. So But to be honest, I was only facilitating trainings or coaching when there was 100% commitment from the person responsible. I don't talk about HR. So let's say I was training the sales team, then for me, what's important is I got 100% commitment from the sales manager, from their manager. There's the managers also involved, because I was never willing to do their job. For me as a trainer, it's not my job to do their job. No, they are the leaders, they are the sales managers. So I always get 100% commitment, because I think when I facilitate or deliver training to a group of salespeople or whatever, there are three persons or three responsibilities. There's of course the trainer, who has to find out in the beginning or before the training, in the preparation, okay, where's the starting point and what should be different afterwards? So what should be the learnings of them? Be clear about that. Then it's the delegate, who is responsible to be committed, to be focused, to learn, to be willing to listen, to be willing to practice, and so on. But there's a third party. The third party is the manager, because when I go out of the seminar room or the Zoom or the team call, whatever, what has happened then? So there has to be someone who is continuing the process, like an ongoing process. So I only facilitated trainings when there was 100 commitment from the manager's side, because I got 100 commitment from myself. I never, ever delivered a training where I didn't get 100% commitment. When the manager was not willing to attend and not willing to stay focused, I don't do it. No, I don't waste my time, because I'm a trainer and not an entertainer. I'm not there for entertaining people to have fun. I want them that they improve. And I'm sorry for that. I give a shit about their feedback. The only thing I want to know is, did you improve? Do you sell more? Or is it maybe you sell the same, but it's easier for me? You're more happy, or whatever it is. I want to see them improve. They don't have to love me. They don't have to marry me. I want to see improvement. That's the only thing I'm interested in. And this is only possible when I get 100% commitment from myself, from the delegates, and from the managers.
That makes perfect sense. That makes really good sense. And you're right. Otherwise your time isn't worth that. It's not worth it to go if there's not that commitment. And so you then also you're a health and wellness expert, and and holistic health. And so I'm curious, how did that develop in your line of expertise along with your business career?
Well, it started also my early years, because I was always very into sport when I was younger. And I found out you can train a lot and you can prepare and whatever you do. And I had the chance that I met someone in my early years who said, have a look at nutrition. It's not only about working out or staying fit, it's also about staying healthy, meaning when you have a healthy, good diet, then you're decreasing the risk of being injured. So because when you do, I was playing basketball and stuff like that. So when you play on the professional part, and I was a professional when I was 17, 18. So because when you get injured, then you cannot train. When you cannot train or you exercise practice, then you're not playing. And I learned that nutrition is a very, very important part in that. So I got into nutrition and a healthy diet. So actually, in my early years, I was very into a healthy lifestyle, not only the fit lifestyle, but also in a healthy lifestyle, because I understood very early that being fit is one thing, but being fit and healthy is the top. So since the early years, I'm interested in fitness and health. And well, I run with Dr. Jacalyn together the It's Your Healthy Lifestyle show. And I'm not a health professional, but I just share my own experience, what I do on a daily basis. I'm 61 now. I don't take any medication, nothing. I have my full teeth. I have no fillers and nothing. But for me, health is the most important thing, to be honest, because all the luxury fine, all the material stuff, the money you make in the family, the friends doesn't make sense, or it's not fun when you're not healthy. So for me, health is very, very important. Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Well, and you also have a platform for men to help support them in their masculinity journey. And I'm curious to know more about that. What does that mean, and what sort of support do you offer?
Well, it started when it started a few years ago, when I've been married two times 15 years. I was always in long-term relationships, whereas from my age 16 to 50 something. And I found out after my last relationship, I became a single and was a little bit scared. But I found out I never had time for myself, about reflecting myself. I was hustling, building up businesses, raising family. I have 3 boys and I was 2 times married and so. But I never had time for myself. And so I was thinking about, who is Roland without the large house in Mallorca, with all these cars, with all these achievements and performance? Who is Roland? And then I found out, okay, who I am? And I said, okay, I'm a human being. I'm a man. I'm a lover. And I said, okay, what is a man? What is nowadays a man? Because we hear so much about toxic masculinity, narcissism, and stuff like that. So I was thinking about, what is a man? And I was talking to other men, so managers and customers. And so, how do you feel as a man? How do you really feel as a man? And I found out that most men don't have a best friend, but they have buddies, they go for a beer or playing snooker or whatever, but really where they can share their inner world about all their anxieties and, doubts and whatever it is. So what's really going on within them, to be honest, because, men are very competitive. Women talk more, women share more, men are very competitive. I was trained, in school and from my parents, be hard, don't show any emotions, there is no pain and stuff like that. So I never learned it as a kid to first of all, to recognize my emotions, to name them, and then to share them with other people. And I found out that most men are suffering from this. So we're working hard, we're successful, but inside we're very empty. We don't feel ourselves, and that's how I started. It started with my own reflection and really taking my time and without any distractions, just being by myself in silence and just let come out whatever comes out on self-talk or emotions. And I went through this process. It was actually, I did an interview before and I said, people always ask me, because I'm a crazy guy, I travel the world, I do a lot of crazy stuff, but the hardest thing, the toughest things I did in my life was sitting in silence for hours and let all the shit coming out, all the dark side. It was the toughest thing in the world, tougher than bungee jumping or whatever, or jumping from a helicopter or whatever. So it was a toughest thing, and it was very healing for me. And I found out that most men need this too. And funnily, I started my first men group online with a lot of Americans, and then German ones, and now I'm a speaker on the largest men's conference in Germany. I'm also speaking on a men's festival in Austria, and I did a men's podcast, because I believe that men need support strongly in our society, and we need men. The tougher the times, we need good times. We had good times the last decades. Especially we in Europe after World War II, we had good times, and good times produce weak men. And hard times, we need strong men. So we need. There's a German singer, and she's. When I translate in English, I see a lot of men, but I don't see any balls, and that's what we have to bring back. Their men's having their balls and being in the driver's seat, and that's what we need. We need leaders, real leaders. That's what we need.
Yes, I completely agree, and I support you 100% in what you're doing, and as you were talking, I was reflecting back when I was married, and I remember thinking at the time, noticing the difference in friendships. And, my husband at the time, his friends would call and say, oh, are you available to come play squash tomorrow at 10? And that would be the extent of their relationship. And, they would feel close together. And, me with my girlfriends, we would be talking all of the time. And so it was just, I remember reflecting at that time, like, this is very different friendship natures that men and women have. And so I think you're right to address that and talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time, because, my girlfriend at the time said, maybe you should go to a men's festival or join a group. I said, what the fuck I'm doing? I'm a tough businessman. I don't want to meet some losers who are hanging around and complaining about their wives or whatever. What I'm doing there. So, but at the end, when I feel it in my stomach, then I feel uncomfortable in my stomach. For me, it's a sign, go there. So because I also try to avoid stuff. Man, I'm a human being. I'm not a Superman. So when I feel it in my stomach, the rumor, it's always a sign. Oh my gosh, something is going to happen there. So I remember I signed up for a course, and weeks before I said I was trying to find any excuses that I don't go there. And I paid already, but I don't want to go there. And then 3 days before, my stomach, it was going on and on and on. And I said, okay, this is a sign. I have to go. And I went to this event, just men, and it was not what I expected. I thought, there are some losers are meditating and drinking, I don't know, soya latte or whatever. Because I'm a carnivore, I'm a meat eater, I'm a hunter, but there were businessmen, there were medical doctors, there were different plumbers, so different men, and real men, and they had a serious talk. And I remember the first session, I was just sitting there. I didn't participate, just sitting there and just listening to other men and their story. And the healing began for me, because the first time in my life, I recognized, oh my God, I'm not the only man who has this and this problem. There's other men too, and they're sharing. And they're from there on, the healing started. And then, you get more comfortable, you feel more trusted and safe in this environment. And then I started opening up, and then I found out, okay, this more men have to do so, and that's how it started.
Yes. Oh, I have such great admiration for you for doing that. I think, and I love what you were saying about when you have that feeling in your stomach, like, I don't want to do it, and yet you go and do it. And so again, I come back to persistence, and that's a form of not giving into it. You have that feeling, and I'm sure it would be more comfortable to not go and do the thing. But you take that as a sign that you should go do the thing and that you need to go do the thing. And you push through and you do it. And so I'm curious to know, in your talking with other people and you're speaking at groups, do you cover that about, when things feel a little uncomfortable, that's when you need to push through and have that persistence? And how do you convey that to other people?
Yeah, consistent persistence. I think whatever you're doing is very important in your life, and some people are struggling, and I was always wondering why are they struggling, or why I am struggling. Sometimes I struggle too, And I found out, and I found out with other people, we don't have consistency and persistence when we don't really believe it, when it's not really our goal we want to reach, when maybe it's a nice to have because somebody else does it or has it or whatever, achieves it. I think it's about, I always say, when the why is strong enough, the how and the what with consistent persistence is no discussion. It's all about the why, the motivation, why we're doing something. And that's what I always tell people in my coaching is it what you really want, or is it just a nice to have? Is it what you really, really want? And why do you want it? And why not nothing else? Why is it this? And when we work in this coaching, we found, okay, this is really what we want. And consistent persistence, we can call it discipline. It's not a matter. It's absolutely. It's when we love what we're doing and we know why we are doing it, there is consistent persistence. We are struggling when it's something that we not really want to do it. I think it's not when we talk about discipline, it's all about motivation, and motivation comes from your goal. Having the goal, being aligned with your goals, being aligned with the strategy, with the action plan, finding out, do you have the skills, or have to learn something, or bring somebody in who has the skill, and then go. And I think persistent, consistent, it sounds so difficult. I think it starts with your vision, with your goal. If this is strong enough, I think I strongly believe that the vision and your goal has to be much larger than any obstacle on the way, because we always have obstacles. We always have excuses. We always get distracted. But when the distraction is larger than your goal, you have a problem because you don't see the goal anymore. So the goal really has to be really large. And I think this is the most difficult thing in life, because most of the people can tell you what they don't want, but they can't tell you what they really want. And that's most of my coaching with people in the one-to-one, finding out what they really, really want. What is their inner calling or their inner truth, or whatever you want to call it. And from there it starts, because when this is not clear, The rest doesn't work. Every plan, every action plan, every strategy, any manifestation, whatever do, is not working because it's not built on solid ground.
That makes really good sense. You're right. We have to have that clarity within ourselves in order to pursue it. You're totally right. Well, and you host a couple of shows here on USA Global TV and Radio. And I'm curious to know, like, so often in our lives, there's this convergence of all of our experiences lead us on to our next experience. And so, reflecting on everything that you've accomplished and learned and what you're working on now, and you have your shows, sort of what do you see in the future as your next steps? Like, what is your goal that you're working on now?
Oh, good question. Yeah, well, actually, I'm in a transition process. Doing traveling less and less because I fell in love with my motorhome and I travel together with my dog. I mean, she's not my first dog; I always had a dog, but we have the deepest bond. And I remember when I was in Sicily last winter, I had to fly to Portugal to meet an American client for a week, and they invited me for their Swiss summit. And my dog, she was so stressed, because it was the first time that I left her alone with somebody else. So I'm in a transition process. I want to travel less, meaning by aircraft. So I focus more on writing books. So luckily this year, two books are coming out on the market. I want to do TV shows, more online coachings, and writing books. I love writing books, and so I'm in a transition process right now, because I strongly believe in it, and I think I always try to do so, and I want to really continue, is I only start projects that fit to my lifestyle, not the other way around. So for me, my lifestyle, how I live, to be free, to be independent, nobody can manipulate me. That's freedom is the highest value for me. And I only do projects that fit to my lifestyle, not the other way around. So writing books, doing TV shows, streaming, doing online coaching, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Well, I first of all, I have two dogs, and I totally understand the strength of those relationships is just really, there's nothing like it, with our pets. And I would love to know what the topics are of your books that you're working on.
Oh, there's one that's coming out hopefully the next 4 weeks. It's not a cover, it's just I made a printout. It's called The Innovation Edge. Actually, it's a business book. The content is what I delivered trainings to American and Canadian tech companies in sales. It's about growing existing accounts, bringing new ones in, and expanding the other ones through innovation. That's why they call it the Innovation Edge. It's coming out in the end of November.
Wow.
Roland, one of our colleagues here, is helping me for that. And there's a German book one. It's a German that has a publishing house. It's not self-published, it's a publishing house. It says, "Daddy, where are you?" Totally different topic. It's about my own experience with. I had a dad, but I didn't know him because he never told. He was not emotional available. Let's say he was living with us, but he wasn't emotionally available, and I was really suffering for that. And I was for years, and actually for decades, I was always hungry to be acknowledged and seen and loved, and it never happened. And I found out that I'm not the only one. So in this book, there are 20 stories of different men and women from 7 different countries, friends of mine, who also shared their own daddy story, because, we have different levels of not being present. There are people who had no idea, they never saw their dad because he passed away, or the parents divorced before he was a year, or the parents separated later, or the dad was here like mine, but not emotionally not available, or stuff like that. So the idea of this book is to inspire other people and say, okay, it's not you're not the only girl, you're not the only man that happened to you, that your dad was not available. So that's the book. It's coming out. My publishing house told me it will already be published in November. So yeah. That's the books, and I'm already writing more books. I finished 3 other books, and but for next year to launch. Yeah, I love writing books.
Yes, congratulations. I'm looking forward to reading both of those books, because this is the entrepreneur side of me where I could use some guidance there, and the personal side as well. So I will read both of those. So thank you for
Thank
that. You know, our
you.
time has flown by today. There's so many questions I would love to ask you. Before we wrap up, can you please tell us how people can connect with you if they would like to talk with you about any of these topics?
Well, the best way is go on my website. It's in German and also in English available. It's my name, rolandfriedl.com. From there, you can link to my business website, to Spartan Performance Systems. You can also link to my coaching website, to Wireless Life Rocks, or to Sparing for Men, to my men stuff. And you will see all the clients. And well, the best way is writing me an email. The telephone is a little bit hard to get me on the phone, but writing me an email. My email address is office@mynamerolandfriedl.com. And yeah. And I always say, you don't have to have an issue or a challenge or a problem to contact me. I love to connect with people. It's all about sharing and caring and connecting. And we never know what the next step is. Or yeah, I love to get in touch with people.
Yes. Well, wonderful. And I really applaud you for your willingness to be open and vulnerable about your own experiences, because I think not only does that inform other people, but it also gives them the space to do the same thing, whether it's with you or elsewhere in their lives. And so I really applaud you and thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So yes. Well, thank you so much for being here today. This has just been a joy and a pleasure. So I really appreciate it. And I'll be reading your books and following your shows as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And, my goal is to inspire other people. And I think that's what the world needs. People should be inspired, have the courage to live the inner truth, whatever it is.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. What an inspiration. I'm totally inspired by this conversation today. And I end every show with a quote about persistence that I pick out ahead of time, not knowing exactly what our conversation will hold for the day. And again, as with previous occurrences, I feel like the quote really fits so well with our conversation. So this is a quote from Napoleon Hill, who said, "Persistence is nothing more than concentrated effort mixed with determination and faith." And I think that that was also very well reflected in what Roland shared with us today. I would love to hear from you about any topics. We are here with the Persistence Payoff Show every other Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. It goes live, and you can watch us anytime on USA Global TV and Radio YouTube channel. You can also find me at theringthing.com is my website, and my email address is kimberly@ringthing.com. Also have a very active Instagram page at ring_thing_. So please feel free to reach out to me with any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions. I am totally open and I would love to connect. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much.
Nestled in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Horseshoe Farm has always been more than a destination. It's a living, breathing reflection of community, connection, and transformation. Once a humble family farmstead, it has evolved over the years to become a sanctuary for travelers, seekers, families, and friends alike. Originally reimagined by the Turchin family as an Airbnb property, the farm began its journey into hospitality with simple roots, welcoming guests to experience the beauty and peace of the sacred land. As word spread and the vision deepened, the property organically blossomed into a boutique resort, rooted in the values of slow living, intentional experiences, and the magic of gathering. Today, the Horseshoe Farm is a 90-acre experiential retreat that merges hospitality, wellness, and culinary excellence. It is home to the stable spa, the silo cookhouse, distinctive lodging options, and a curated calendar of events that nourish mind, body, and spirit. Our guest experience is designed to be both grounding and expansive, where the comforts of luxury meet with the simplicity of nature. At its core, the Horseshoe Farm is about transformation of land, of self, and of community. We are proud of where we've come from. We are confident in who we are today and excited for the road ahead. Hello, I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, also known as the Listening Mentor and President and Founder of USA Global TV and Radio. I had the opportunity, the pleasure of attending a retreat at the Horseshoe Farm just recently. I was so impressed with all of the opportunities that were presented to me in this glorious setting, as well as the highest level of customer service, that I've decided to put together a retreat at the Horseshoe Farm in Hendersonville, North Carolina, United States of America, June 3rd through the 6th, 2026. You can expect to have a beautiful time of relaxation combined with learning, community, collaboration. Do consider joining me in this wonderful opportunity to reconnect with yourself, with others, and with nature. For more information, email me at drjacalyn@usaglobaltv.com.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.